got Cassidy the Cardslinger. Cassidy, how are you?
Hey Sam, I'm doing really well, thanks. How are you?
Very good, thank you. So, Cassidy, not only are you a certified tarot consultant, but you're also one of the founders of the Pomegranate Festival. So,
Sure am. Yes, yeah, we've got a really excellent team here, teaming up for our second festival here with the full moon in Taurus Halloween Festival, and yeah, we've got such an amazing lineup. I'm so excited to see this all come together. It's just really incredible.
it's really exciting. There's so much. Before we go into your workshop and your uh, talk, I want to know you're a scientist in your day job. Is that right?
Yes.
How does that work, and how have you brought that into your tarot reading?
Yeah, and I mean I feel like it blends really, really well together. But oftentimes when I tell people or start talking to people about it, they don't. They don't see that how it works together. Especially my dad. When I told him I started getting into this kind of stuff, he said, how can you believe in that crap? And I was like, really, how can you not? It's I'm very interested in things that we're working to understand. We're developing methods and stuff to get a greater understanding of how things work and function, which is science, and then the whole realm of, divination as a whole is something that I mean, I'm not gonna say no one understands it, but there's just so many routes to accessing spirit and working with the divine. So I think one of the best ways it's ever been put, and I can't remember who said it, so credit to whoever said it this way, but truth essentially being a missing puzzle piece, and all of every spiritual tradition, religion, practice is a piece around the edge of it. So what it actually is something that's defined by everything that can touch it. When you're looking at a puzzle and there's one, you're missing that one piece. It's defined by every way it can be accessed, and I just think that's really, really incredible.
I love it. And I know one way you access it is through meditation, because you're a big practicer of meditation, and you're actually going to be doing a full moon meditation at the Halloween ritual. Is that right?
I am, yes. Yeah, we'll be doing a guided live full moon meditation just to kick off the full moon ritual ceremony. And that's largely based on the energy of the Taurus full moon and working in what that really means. We've got a great team of astrologers who've given me some great direction on how to frame that meditation. And it's going to be a very powerful thing to have everybody doing it at the same time. So
Nice.
really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And that's going to be such a nice collective, everyone's energy coming together and doing the rituals and seeing Halloween in. So we're really excited about that. And then we're excited about your lovely talk that you're doing on reading runes. So tell me about that.
Yes, so I mean, I've got a couple of them here. So the main system that I work with, it's called Witches Runes, and essentially it's a system of 13 runes that you can use as a method of divination. So I like to divine with anything I can get my hands on. Tarot was the first thing that got me into divination in the first place, and then runes sort of came along afterwards. It's an interesting story of how I started working with runes. I've always been interested in wanting to try them, but anytime I saw them in a shop or saw them online, for some reason I just could not buy them. It would not, I don't know, I really wanted to, but something was saying I really couldn't. So what I ended up doing was making my own set, and I've made this from a maple tree that was on my parents' property, and I would burn the symbols myself, and then put some really awesome magical oils on it as well. So they're a really special set to me, and I think it's just, I mean, in any way in my practice, I'll weave in something of the natural environment around me. I mean, half the stuff on my table, I got some sticks here, I got rocks, anything real natural kind of stuff. I just
so that's a little teaser about your talk. What are we going to learn from your talk about these runes?
For somebody, yeah. So what I want to talk about is, what are runes essentially? Never heard of them. It's as a system, there's a number of different systems that people use, and I want to talk about the main one that I'm using, just a little brief overview of other ones that are available, and how you can make your own set. You don't need to use wood, you can use a whole bunch of different things, and we'll talk about that more in depth. And then the basics of how you read them. So now you've got all these cool discs with symbols on them. What do I do with them? So I'd love everyone, after they come to the talk, to know a little bit about, okay, how can I make my own set, and how do I read with these things if I'm looking to divine with them?
So I'm very excited about your workshop that you're going to be doing on Sunday from 2 to 2:30 UK time. So tell us about that. What can we learn?
Yeah, so my workshop is called Working with Mixed Divination Systems. So essentially it's how to perform a reading, whether for yourself or for clients, when you're working with more than one tool. So like I said, I'm really interested in tarot card reading and oracle card readings. So how to add reading the cards with reading runes. If you want to add pendulum, if you want to do some scrying, we're going to talk about bibliomancy and libromancy. So working with how do you divine reading out of a book, and any book works. I know traditionally you can use the Bible. There's a number of different, I mean, you can divine out of any book you want. And technomancy is divination of anything technological. So it can be using websites. You can divine with songs. You can divine with TV shows. It's it's really, really cool. So how to weave all these different methods in for one reading and the best way that they can contribute to your reading as a whole.
So will we learn about the order of how to do things? Because you can do a tarot spread, but then to bring something else in, do you do that at the beginning or the end? How do you know which one to use first and where that leads? Will we learn that kind of stuff?
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll talk about, and you can show up to the workshop if you have no divination experience or you're a professional reader in any one of the areas. But I really want to showcase how you can layer your reading and add additional depth by putting literally another layer of technique over top of it. So
yeah, that's really powerful, isn't it? To combine things, because it's your skill in being able to read things, and other people have certain aspects of spirituality that they're really keen on. But it's not like if you're doing a tarot reading, you just do a tarot reading. If you're channeling or if you're clairvoyant, and you can use that, or in astrology, and you can bring astrology into tarot reading, I know that can be a lot more powerful.
Exactly. So it just gives you a little bit something extra to add on. Every time you layer a reading, it can pull out a different piece of information. So yeah, it's just you can get the same messages a lot of the time, but again, everything is just a tool for how you get that information. So different tools speak better in different ways, and a little bit of how to practice learning each of the techniques and what are the best ways to go about that. So it's going to be a very packed workshop.
So tell us what people can take away from your workshop, or what you would like people to take away from the workshop.
Yeah, so like I said, if you have no experience to if you're a professional in one of the areas, this workshop will be great for you. You'll learn something. What I want people to take away is really how to work with multiple different systems. So you have a really full table. If you have a whole bunch of different things that you want to use, and sometimes you don't need to use every system. Sometimes you only really need to use one. Sometimes you need to use all of them. How to make that discernment, how to pick your tools for different types of questions. And if you're going to use multiple ones, what makes sense for order, how you'll do which one, that kind of thing. Just really how to perform a mixed divination system reading in a nutshell.
I don't know anything about runes, but I know a bit about tarot. And I think it sounds really exciting because it introduces new things to people. So will you be giving an introduction to different methods that might tease people into perhaps learning these things?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll by no means I'm not doing a thorough investigation on how to read each of them. But if you're interested in wanting to learn how to read the tarot, Mandy is going to be doing a beginner's tarot workshop as well. So you can pop on over and check that out if you need some tarot skills knowledge. But yeah, it'll be basically just how to work with the number ones together. And we will do a little bit of an introduction on how each system functions as a standalone technique, but the main focus being how do I use more than one itself. So yeah, like I said, it's not going to be a whole class on reading runes and a whole class on scrying, just a little bit of tips, techniques, practical things that you can start to do if you make your own set or if you have a scrying tool. How do I get to learn this system a little bit, and then how would I use that in conjunction with another tool?
Amazing. It sounds really good. Cool. It's exciting. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that probably do practice a lot of different things that are like, how can I combine these? And also I feel that there might be a bit of a divide between people going, well, I'm a tarot reader, so I offer tarot reading. So how can I perhaps sell it to other people that I do tarot, but I also do runes and pendulum, and without becoming a jack of all trades? So will you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So That's another thing I will bring up is sort of the concept of your anchor tool. So what is the tool that you, as a standalone technique, you can just rock, that you don't really need anything else. And I find that as well myself. I'm a tarot reader first and foremost. So that will be in every single one of my readings. I very rarely do a reading with a tool that does not include at least some kind of deck of cards, either tarot or oracle. But what I did is, after doing a lot of different readings, especially with cards, I found out areas that were a little bit, if it wasn't particularly addressed in the reading, like for example, here's the reason I got into reading runes. So, doing readings, I found myself saying to people, the tarot is really great at telling you what needs to be done, but it often is easier said than done. And while it comes up in the reading a lot, the scope of how difficult something will be for someone, when I added reading runes, in conjunction with my tarot readings, it really showed me this is what this person needs to do. This is how it's going to play out. But then also, what part am I seeing in the spread that's going to be really difficult for this individual? So I could give them some advice and information, and it sounds all good on paper, but they leave and they have a really hard time with it, or they don't. Just identify really in the spread, where is this person really going to struggle, or where is something that they're, I don't need to talk about this anymore. I just need to mention this part of the path, and they, got that in spades. So giving it a little bit of depth that way was really why I started adding runes to my tarot reading. And then all of the other standalone techniques, they've all provided a lot for me on their own. But again, in combining them with my tarot readings, they've just so many extra layers and different things that can come from it. So
yeah, it's amazing. And I think it's really important. We've got to be open-minded in all of this work, and to be open-minded to different methods of getting the message or getting the problem and fixing and overcoming that. And you do that so beautifully. So Cassidy, I'm really excited about everything you've done for Pomegranate Festival. Thank you for your contribution to your workshop that you'll be doing, and your speech, and also your guided meditation, which I'm really looking forward to at the Halloween ritual. So thank you for being you. I could listen to your accent all night long. You could read the phone book and I'd be interested, but what you say is amazing as well.
My accent. I love your accent too, Sam.
Oh, good. I'm terribly good. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care.